So I have a lot of thoughts about Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, and I figured, why don't I just talk long form about it on the Toku Trash Podcast? But then I thought, hey, I should do that live with my friend Jem from Prawnhorn Heroes, and I did it live over on Twitch. So I just wanted to clip out that part of the Toku Trash Podcast and give it to you guys here on YouTube. If you want to check out the whole podcast where we talk about things like the newest premium Bandai releases and a bunch more stuff, check out Toku Trash Podcast on any podcast service. You can also check out tokutrash.tv there in the corner for the full version of the podcast where I review Kamen Rider Decade after having watched it all in one night. But that's over the premium version for members of tokutrash.tv. The full version of the conversation over on any podcast services. And what you're about to watch right now is our full review of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. But what we did catch up on, Jen finished it today, I've heard, was Power Rangers Cosmic Fury.
Hell yeah. I was telling him, and I didn't advise it to anybody, but I was watching the 9th episode while driving home. So, I finished it.
You want to give me like a general wrap up? What do you think about the whole thing? And then we'll go a little deeper.
Dude, hands down, one of the worst seasons of Power Rangers.
Really?
A waste of my time. 10 episodes, and I wish it was 5.
Wow.
Oh my god. No, could you imagine if I had that opinion?
Dude, my brain was blown for a second. I was like, whoa, we have completely different outlooks on this season.
No, I said I was going to do that as soon as I finished the show. I was like, I'm going to go on there and say it's the worst season I've ever seen. No, I fucking loved it, dude. I couldn't. I don't know. If anybody doesn't like the show, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I loved it. And Sophia and I were talking about it. It's like, damn, it's one of the best seasons of Power Rangers. Like, hands down.
Yep.
Like, I know I kind of like, just junked you there. But like, yeah, like it's really probably in the top 10, maybe in the top 5 if I really sit down and think about it. But it's really, really good. And I don't know if it's because it was on Netflix rather than Nickelodeon that it felt different. But I felt like the acting was a little better. Some of the choices were better. The story felt more cohesive because maybe we had 10 episodes. So I don't know, dude, but I liked it.
I don't believe anything you say anymore.
Just don't believe anything.
I don't trust you at all.
I just turned back and I'm like, just kidding.
Fucking psych. You bring up your hands, their fingers are crossed. I'm in the same boat. Like we'll get into it more, but like I was 100% on board. 8 out of 10 season for me. That's like my final score for it. 100% on board until the last episode. I think the last episode undid a lot of things that I really liked about the season.
Ooh, okay.
Or like just dropped the ball on a lot of things I liked about the season.
Ooh, I'd love to unpack that.
Yeah. And so, but like you said, the acting, somehow I watched Dino Charge or Dino Fury. I rewatched like the last half of Dino Fury the day of Cosmic Fury coming out. Or the day before Cosmic Fury coming out.
Yeah.
And the acting is just like night and day. It is crazy how like stepped up it is in terms of like just right off the bat. They're like, and it seemed like everyone wanted to be there. Like everyone was like super excited compared to the last season of Dino Fury.
Yeah, dude, Amelia won hands down. Like Red Ranger aside, she just feels different.
Yep.
Like I feel like immediately they were like, all right, guys, we have 10 episodes. She has to be a leader from the get-go. She just has to feel like a leader. Everything she does is leader. And like, the acting, Hunter's delivery, like I feel like was just so solid. I felt like there was intention with every scene because we only had such a limited amount of episodes. Sorry.
There were parts, and it's very towards the beginning of the series, like right when they get lost in space, where they just kind of waste time doing things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there should be urgency here. What's happening?
Yes. That's true.
Why are we sitting around? Why are we talking about this? Let's get going. Javi's like trying to figure out how to play his guitar, breaks the strings, and Billy's like, I'll fix it for you. I was like, no, you're lost. There's an invasion happening. Like, what? Why are we worried about this guitar right now?
Absolutely. There's a couple cons I can get to and I will get to.
Yeah.
But I will say I do love how they did the going to space thing differently. Like I didn't feel like they were like doing In Space or like the finale of Turbo again. Yeah. I felt like they very much made it their own thing where like these Rangers from Earth are now in space. You know, I feel like it was very, very cool to see that done again. And I only realized it when they were in the new spot. I was like, oh, fuck. This feels like, you know, I just said in space, but it feels like in Lost Galaxy when, like, they're away, like, helmetless in the spaceship. And, like, they're like, guys, Miranoi's gone, but, like, we have this power. Like, it just felt like so, like, new. Like, or like, oh, man, we're here now. Like, what are they going to do now type feeling. And then it just made me think of, like, oh, man, they just went to space. And I didn't even think about in space, you know? I thought that was really cool. I gave them props.
Yeah, I love the retreating, pressing the button, and, like, the button that comes out of nowhere, by the way. 2 seasons, never once seen the button.
Bro,
button pops up.
Where does this button come from? It really felt like, let's write this button.
Yep.
This is our thing.
Big red button pops up, transports them anywhere in space. I love the whole we're lost in space type of thing. Fern getting lost with them, just excellent way to go about it.
Beautiful.
And the fact that they were like, okay, we got to figure out how to get home, but we like have nothing and that kind of stuff. I also, for some reason, thought I remembered the Dino Fury base being a spaceship at first. Like I thought I remembered that's how the Rafkonians got there in the first place.
It was like a crashed spaceship.
Yeah, but then they were like, we got to make it a spaceship. It's never flown before. And I was like, I think this happened. Did it?
I definitely remember that being a spaceship.
Yeah,
So
Exactly.
they can't hide it from us.
Yeah, and so when they went all about that, I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, we can build it, make a spaceship and everything, get off the planet. I thought that was really interesting. But on the flip side of that, it was really hard for me to swallow that, like, we're stuck on this planet, we need a spaceship. Also, to the other side of, well, let's use these Zords to fly everywhere. And it's like, how are we going to different planets with these Zords when we can't get this spaceship off the ground? Why are we worried about this when we can go somewhere else and find a new Zord with these Zords?
Yeah, like, let's just use the big red lion Zord.
Yeah.
And fuck this Zord fuck this thing that doesn't even move, apparently. Like, let's just ditch it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Guess what, guys? Got a new base. It's a big red lion Zord that the other show that we're not supposed to talk about uses as a base.
Yes, exactly. So, like, honestly, it could have been a win-win.
Yeah. But back to the pluses, I think Ollie had the most to do this season, obviously. Did it really well. Whether I like how he got there or not, I think the blue sludge was insanely dumb, but they had to get there. Like, the first 3 minutes was just like, put everybody in place. Hurry. Go, 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 go.
Yep. Have the blues meet real quick. Tricero time real quick, and then we're going to make him evil. But tell him to say hi.
Throw Zato into space. Get Mick. Make him a ranger.
The Zato thing. Oh, okay. And that's in my cons, actually, which I'll get to. But yeah, that was the whole beginning was very like, let's set the season. All right. We have to gap. We have to bridge the gap. Let's do it.
Yep. And they was just like, throw this person this way, this person this way. And like, we'll talk about the Zato thing, obviously, because it's a gigantic issue.
Yeah.
But the first part felt so pedal to the metal, let's go, go, go. And I feel like the next 3 episodes just slowed everything down to like I was talking about, like, there's no urgency here. Like, Earth is being invaded, and we're just like, we're playing guitar, and it's like, cool. We have these new Zords that came out of nowhere, but they only come when we call the Zords.
Still no new morphers.
Yeah.
I guess we're fine with that. We're going to fight with our swords that we have.
The swords still being around was weird to me.
I was like, okay, they're fighting with their swords. That's kind of fun. But, like, you know. Yeah, dude. I think everything before them getting the new Cosmic Fury Morphers and becoming Cosmic Fury Rangers was like a lot. And I think, you know, even like Javi, like him losing his arm, it was very like, bro, you just became the Winter Soldier out of nowhere. And now, like, we just have to accept that. This is you now. And, like, he deals with trauma, like, I guess, really quick. You know, like, I feel like the show tries to, like, hey, guys, like, he's really going through it. And, like, you know, it's a lot for him. But, like, this has never happened in Power Rangers before. Nobody's just, like, lost. Like, a human has never just, like, lost a limb. Yep. And now we're just living like this. So, like, I don't know. I feel like they tried there. But, like, we should have slowed that down a little bit.
When they were like, he's going into shock, I was like, oh my god, we're doing this. Like,
that's what I said. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go. Go into shock.
Yeah, it's like really happening. All right. I don't love that it's downplayed later by Amelia getting cut, because it's like we just see this first time ever bodily injury in Power Rangers, and everyone like, I watched it on stream the minute it came out with everybody, and like everyone was just chat was in shock, like they just did it. That's insane. Like everyone thought the in terms of my community beforehand, everyone thought that they would never do it, and all it was the Morphin Masters staff upgrading Javi.
Nice.
And I was like, there's no shot he's gonna upgrade. Like it's gonna get torn off or something. So the fact that they just did it, and then later they're like, here's blood, kind of, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, like I just saw a better version of this 10 minutes ago, but like, sure,
like,
blood.
You did it already, it's fun.
Starting out at the biggest point and then coming down.
Yeah, well, at least I guess, setting the tone.
Yeah. But I really, really enjoyed it. I loved it. And we'll talk about the last episode in a minute. But I think that everything they were doing, I think they proved that they can like handle original footage really well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that was a big pro.
They've been saying it this whole time, like, oh, we need to do original footage, and they've been moving towards it more in the last 3 seasons, kind of with the Beast Morphers ending. But like, man, did they hit it out of the park in this one in terms of like just going all in on the original footage. I think there is a problem. I hate doing the pros and then going back to the cons, but I hate that all the Megazord fights on this feel so second thought, like, oh, we just have to use it, so just throw it in there. It feels like there's a big talk on Twitter about, is Tokusatsu or Super Sentai holding Power Rangers back? And like everyone says no. A lot of people, like Simon Bennett, showrunner himself, says yes. I think showing this to someone, they would say yes, but I also think watching it that I was like, oh, you just didn't give a fuck about the Zord fights. You were just like, all right, throw it in here.
Man, yeah, I don't even know how I would answer that question either. Because like, I'm in the camp of like, bro, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them to begin with. So like, I don't see the argument here. Like, I guess nowadays, yeah, you could say like, I guess it's holding it back to an extent, but I don't think it's Sentai's fault. I think it's our fault. Like whoever's in control of the IP is at fault for how it's being treated or how it's being used. So like, whatever Sentai's doing or whatever footage we get from them has nothing to do with the decisions that we're making on our end. So like, I just think of it as like, bro, we could be doing so many cool things if like they cared, I guess. I feel like they just don't care, and like I kind of gave up on Hasbro too, because like at the beginning I was like, and then maybe everybody's there too, because like I just don't really keep up that well, but like I really am just like, I wanted this Morpher right here, this guy. Yeah. But I didn't buy it because I was like, I just don't want to support them. But one of my coworkers from work was like, yo, dude, you're the only other person that likes Power Rangers, so I got you this. Like, I got a second one. And I was like, that's crazy, dude. You did not get me this. Yeah, and I was just so excited because, like, obviously, like, it just means so much to me for so many reasons. But I just have given up on Hasbro and trying to give them chances because, like, I don't know, I just feel like I just end up being disappointed, and I'm tired of feeling that way. I'd rather just, like, move on, you know what I mean? And I feel like, I hope that's what they're doing now. I hope they're moving on and just doing something fresh. I just want something new.
Yeah, that's what the Zord footage kind of proved to me, because, like...
Yeah! At the end, in the last episode? Or
just overall. Because they were like here's these new Zords. Yeah, they were just like, here's these new Zords, and then they didn't do... Like, there's no differential. All of a sudden, there's, like, the Q Ranger Zords... Obviously very interchangeable and everything. Yeah. So they do that throughout the series, but there's like no indication that they've done that. Like all of a sudden the snakes are on the arm and using the snake attack. And then like the next episode, all of a sudden something else is on the arm and you're doing this. But there's just like Cosmic Fury Zord. And then the thing that like killed me the most is finally it combines with Ryuteo.
Yeah.
And it's just nothing. They never mention it. They never they're just like, we're fighting like this now. The dragon and the lion are together.
Well, they call it the Ultra Zord, and I was like, guys, if you only knew the combo that comes after this guy. Yeah. But I guess for the amount of episodes, like, sure, let's call it an Ultra Zord. But I thought that was a little disappointing, too, where I was like, let's just call it just like a combo or something. Like, you guys don't have to just say it's an Ultra Zord because it's the last mecha combination we're going to see.
Yeah. There's far more to this. It's just...
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I think that was one of the bigger disappointing parts to me. Just surface level of like watching it of like, man, these Zords are kind of like nothing, huh? And like, I kind of like everyone being able to pilot a Zord differently.
Yes.
Like they try so hard. There's so many points in the show where they're like, oh, autonomous Zords, semi-autonomous Zords. This is cool. They can pilot themselves. To where it's like, guys, I get it.
He's like, that's how I like my Zords or whatever. Oh, semi-autonomous? That's how I like them or whatever. What the fuck? Okay.
And when they're like, oh, self-pilot or like automatic pilot, blah, blah, blah. They mentioned it way too much. And I'm like, I understand. No one needs to pilot these. We get it. There's not 12 Rangers. Move on.
Yes. I also was really, really down with them being able to pilot every Zord. Like, at first I was like, man, I just wish we had new Rangers to pilot these Zords. But then I was like, you know, it's kind of cool that we can just like, I'm going to hop in this one today, guys. Oh, cool, man. I'm going to drive this one today. Peace. Yeah. And like, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I dug it. What'd you think of the Cosmic Fury Morpher?
Bro, I say bro a lot nowadays. I really, really, really like it. Okay, so like, I like it because that's what we went with. But I honestly was thinking about it today, and I was like, why didn't we use the Seiza Blaster?
I said this as we were watching the show. I was like, it does all the same things. Why are we using something else?
It's the same thing. You can transport with it, you can blast people, and you can morph with it. You can talk to people, whatever the fuck you want. I think it's just so many different things that the Seiza Blaster is. I guess the only reason why I think they didn't is because maybe it just didn't clash with the suits well. But even, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I feel like it could have just gone well. But that was the only thing. I was like, why not? But once I got past that and, you know, like I was just down with them, I was like really, really into the design. I like how like it's like a cuff and not like a strap.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a cuff situation. I really, really dig that. I wish the toy version was
anywhere near it.
Anything close to it.
Yep.
So little side tangent. I also did a morph for Cosmic Fury, and the biggest L I had to take was, all right, we have to do this morph with that fucking $20 morpher. I'm just not, I have to.
For the record, it's $40, guys.
Okay, thank you. So like, I was like,
if it was 20, I would have bought it. I saw it and I was like, oh, like this is the new season. $40.
Dude,
next.
I think it was 30 when we got it, because I don't think I spent $40 on it. Not the point. The point was like, I was like, I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna use it, and like, because the orb doesn't come out, we're gonna use a Q-Tama. A whole situation. Like, it was like a whole plan.
Do you want to tell this story?
I'm thankful. I mean, there's a lot involved to that more.
The story you told me last week. Do you want to tell the story?
Yes, about like how we got there, right?
Yes.
So I really wanted to do an every red Dino morph, and because I wanted to ride the wave of Cosmic Fury's release date, I specifically wanted to get the Cosmic Fury Red Ranger in there. And because we hadn't seen the morph yet, I was like, you know, if anybody knows what happens in that morph, it's one of the Dino Fury Rangers. So I hit up Hunter Dino, and I was like, hey girl, how are you doing? I hope you're well. I didn't say all that, but I was like, hey dude, I'm working on this thing, and it requires the Cosmic Fury Red Rangers morph. And at that point, we had seen the trailer, and we see them put the orb in and like link to the morphing grid. So I had shot something already while we did something with our homie Stickosaurus, because we met up with him. We filmed some stuff. So I had something shot already, but like I had hit her up, and I also hit up Simon Bennett. And I told both of them, I was like, yo, I'm working on this thing. I need the Cosmic Fury morph if there's anything else that you guys do aside from what I've seen in the trailer. Hunter never got back to me. If you see this, Hunter, no hard feelings. Please hit me up. But it's all good, because Simon got back to me, and I was like, Pokey, you're getting back to me? What the fuck? And I literally, same thing I said to Hunter. I was like, hey, I'm working on this video. Is there anything I haven't seen in the trailer that they do before the actual morph sequence? Because we don't do the morph sequences. We just do the poses.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yeah, so actually we do this. And I was like, no fucking way. And this was like, I don't know, maybe like a week or two before Cosmic Fury had come out. So I was like, no fucking way. And I couldn't believe him, because what he said was exactly what it is. but I just couldn't believe him because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, so they show the orb to the camera, a dinosaur hologram pops up, then it spins on the top of their fingers and shoots up in the air and falls into their morphers. And I was like, he's fucking with me, babe. There's no way that this is what happens. I was like, he's fucking with me. But I was like, there's no way he would take his time to reply to me, one, and two, fuck with me. So I was like, this got to be real. So I took his word.
Could you imagine if he was just like, I got time today, let me fuck with this dude?
Because, he's always replying to people.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. But I was like, I'm going to take his word. So I was like, all right. I have to reshoot a couple things because we shot something, so I'm going to do a reshoot. And I'll explain something in a second to end the story. But so he gave me the description, and I asked a couple questions about like the ball spinning. I was like, "Is that a VFX shot, or did you guys do that practically somehow?" And he was like, "No, it's a VFX shot." So I was like, "Okay, fuck, I need a VFX shot." And I don't do VFX. Like if you know me from TikTok, one of the things I say is I don't have VFX, but I have fucking passion. Mm-hmm. So like I was like, what am I going to do? And I need it, like, at that point, it had been, like, a week. So I was like, I need it in a week because Cosmic Fury is coming out. So I thankfully hit up my friend Andy from Kamen Rider Studios, and I told him, I was like, Andy, you do VFX, man. If I gave you a morph description, I can't even show you a video. If I gave you a description, could you pull off the VFX shot? And he was like, I got to see the description. So I was like, okay. So I sent it to him, and he was like, I think I can do this. And I was like, dope, I need it in a week. He was like, yeah, I think I can do this. I was like, awesome. So I asked him, I was like, do you need anything from me? We filmed it. He was like, try to get this, this, and this. And I was like, cool. We got this shot, whatever. It was like, dude, that's another story that I won't tell now. Maybe I'll tell him another day on the channel. But filming the Cosmic Fury morph was also pretty rough. We almost didn't film it that day, and it was almost something completely different. But so we ended up filming it, and then I sent the footage to Andy, and then, Andy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but then he just ghosted me, didn't get back to me, and I was like, Andy, what the fuck's happening? Like, he's not getting back to me. And then I was at work one day, just chilling, like, on my break, or I think I was just waiting in between orders. He just texted me the video with the VFX. And I was like, you fucking wizard. It looks so cool. I don't know, for both of us not having seen it, and for like, the description that we got and just like pulling it off, I'm proud of it, honestly. Maybe in like a couple years I'm going to be like, man, we could have done this, or like it would have been cool if I had told him to add this or whatever. But like for what we did and for me to get that out when I did, I'm proud of it. But that's also why, if you notice, and this is just to end the story, if you see the morph, there's a shot right at the end where Sophia has the Cosmic Fury morph, and she's in the woods, and she wasn't in the woods in the actual morph. And that's because the actual morph is the reshoot, and we had filmed an original morph in the woods while we were with Stegosaurus, and like there was supposed to be another one, but I ended up cutting that whole thing. But I was like, we're gonna use the helmet shot. I don't give a fuck what I have to do. We're using the helmet shot.
Dude, when you released it and I watched it, it was the day Cosmic Fury came out. You released it. The flip happens, and I was like, there is no way he knew about this. And so I texted you, and you told me the story, and I was like, that's insane, because like with the description, it is spot on. Besides the like holographic dinosaur, which is the thing I was telling you about, because I didn't know if you knew about it. It happens later, because it doesn't happen the first couple times they morph, but it happens like episode like 5 through 10. That's the part I was like, it's insane that you got everything spot on, from like the flick up to the catch. And when I saw it, I was like, or when I saw it in the show, I was like, I'm so sad that the morpher is not like this. Because I would be flipping up the orb all the time.
Bro, the orb would be so cool. I hope somebody does it. Somebody needs to do that morpher, dude, because I would love to own a screen accurate version of that morpher. Yep. Oh my god.
With the brace and everything on it. Like, it would be so cool.
Dude, absolutely. Just the last thing about that morph, because of the hologram thing, I told Pookie, I was like, listen, man, I'm not getting that shot with the hologram. So I was like, this is the best we could do with like the little thing of like the Shishi Red hologram. And then also, last thing, that Cutama in that morph is actually the orange Cutama. I I told Andy, I was like, I can't find my red Q-tip, dude. I don't know where it is, and it's fucked because I had two. But one of them I gave to Marcos because he bought my Q-Ren-O set, and then the second one I had in Tav's diaper bag because it was my lucky charm. And then I just don't know where I fucking put it. So I was like, I have the orange one. Can you color correct it to red? And he was like, okay, sure.
He's like, I can also do that because I'm a wizard.
Literally. So props to him.
Back to the show. We talked about it a little bit before. I want to talk about it. It happens very early. I think episode 4-ish is when he comes back. But what do you think about the Zato problem that we got going on?
Okay, dude. So something that I've noticed in Cosmic Fury is there's characters that I love in Dino Fury that I hate in Cosmic Fury.
Oh, really?
And there's characters that I hated in Dino Fury that I love in Cosmic Fury.
Shout out Ollie.
Yeah, shout out Ollie, shout out Ion. So there's some great things about this season, but some of the bad things were Zato. One of the bad things was Zato. I think for me, I hated how they kind of, and I get it, he died at the end of Dino Fury, quote unquote, but I felt like it was such a waste to have him be absent for those first 4 episodes. Like, not even like a little side quest, like a little buffer situation where there's scenes in between the actual A plot happening.
Yeah,
where, like,
no,
you can
he was
see
just
what he's
sleeping
doing.
in a tree.
Bro, why didn't we get anything there? I was so bummed. I was like, no, 2 episodes, nothing with Zato. 3 episodes, nothing. And then I was like, dude, this is fucked. And then when they brought him back, I was like, they better do shit with him. And then like he's the Zenith Ranger for a little bit, which I felt was a little underwhelming. I don't know, man. I just felt like there was disrespect. It was disrespectful the whole way, and I was almost like, you can remove him from the show, and it's the same, and that sucks because he's the Red Ranger to this team. To this, no offense to Amelia, but to the Dino Fury Rangers, like he's their leader. So like I felt like they did him dirty in this show.
Yeah, I know you're not on Twitter a lot, but it was a gigantic Twitter conversation for the last year of Zato being demoted, and the showrunner was the whole time, he's like, he's not demoted, just wait till you see it, because the Zenith Ranger and what Zato eventually becomes, the Morphin Master, are like bigger than the Red Ranger, is what he was saying. So a lot of people took umbrage with the fact that like this is the 5th black man to be a Red Ranger, but he's also, I want to say the 4th, it's either the 3rd or the 4th black man who was a Red Ranger to get demoted by the end of the season, or to get taken out of that role by the end of the season and not stay black or
it was
Red
like
Ranger.
Overshadowed by a white character.
Correct.
Yes.
The others obviously being TJ, Jack, and I can't think of the other one right now.
Scott and RPM having like some main focus in RPM, but Dylan having that really solid storyline throughout the whole show, which is fucked.
Yeah. So watching this and the first 4 episodes, I was very much like, oh, he's sidelined. There's no question. He's demoted, sidelined, whatever you want to call it. And then by the end, like throughout the show, I'm like, he's going to become a Morphin Master. It's kind of obvious, but like, let's let it play out. And guess what? Throughout the rest of the show, still demoted, still sidelined. What I will say is the small bits that Zato get are my favorite writing of the whole show.
Bro, the heart of the show. Almost.
My favorite writing of the whole show. When he's talking to Ion and Solon about like, hey, please don't tell anyone that I'm going to die. Like, I'm like sitting there holding back tears. Yes, and I'm like, why couldn't we get this more? And I also think that like, if you're going to have him missing, I think a team with their Red Ranger missing is infinitely more interesting than the Red Ranger going missing and then be like, oh, well, there's a new Red Ranger now.
Yes.
Like,
no, I totally agree. 100%. Like, I get, having a Red Ranger, the first female Red, which was great to see. I don't want to, disrespect that either because it was great to see. But I think there was such an overshadow because of that towards Zato and his character and his role. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I can't agree with Simon in saying that it wasn't like he wasn't demoted because it feels like he's a morphing master, but like he was barely in the show also, so
Yeah.
like you can't even like, like I don't know, and I agree with you with like his moments being so good too, because like I feel like every time you see him, you're like, oh, finally we get to see some stuff from our guy, like our leader that like led the Rangers these last 2 seasons prior to the show, and then it's just like, all right, moving on to the next thing, or like he faints or something, he passes out, and you're like, fucking hell, man. Like,
yeah, just the fact that they were like, oh, he's sleeping for this episode now. And I'm like, come on, guys, because whatever came before that, every time he's like, hey, I have to use magic for this, like it carries such weight that all of a sudden, oh, okay, he's sleeping, and I'm just like, why are we doing this again? Like, come on.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was one of the things that made it that much more apparent that like I wanted more of him, and there wasn't more of him.
Yeah. Besides the no problem, going to pluses, there are 2 things I want to talk about specifically because they're my favorite episodes of the season.
Yeah.
The first one being not the lesser of the 2, but like the earlier of the 2 is Fern becoming a ranger.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, myself included, when I first saw that, I was like, oh yeah, of course, that's fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the way they did it was just like very, very heartwarming to me, and I feel like one of the best parts of the season.
Yes, dude, hands down. I'm rocking the orange cover on my mic today because of her. Like, I just really, really, like, hands down one of the highlights of the season. If we never see her again, like, that's fine. Like, I'll live with myself because we at least got her in this show. But, like, man, I would love to see something with, like, her, like a little mini series with her and some other Rangers, or just, like, I don't know, like a special or something. Just because, like, first Orange Ranger, like, that's sick. And also, the biggest plus for me was that her dinosaur was a Solanosaurus.
Dude, it was so cool.
Hands down. I was like, oh my god, it makes so much sense.
Yep.
And I think I cheered up for that too. I was like, damn, they fucking got me. Like, fuck yes.
Yep. She saves her and then you see the energy, I was like, no way are they doing this.
It's so smart, dude.
It's so, and it's like, it just feels special. Like throughout the whole series, she has to stay back and help Solon. So like they gain this little partnership throughout the show, and then she becomes her dinosaur, and I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah, it made me feel like, I thought Solon was gonna die because of that, but it made me feel like Solon was really like validated and just like a part of the team, like fully. Like her dino is fucking in there, her dino is represented. I love that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the best parts of the season to me. The other best part that I was talking about was the Siege of Earth, or the whole Rebellion of Earth thing happening.
Oh,
it was very Operation Seasoning is what it was called. But
yes,
sorry, there's a fire truck behind me. That it could have been the season finale. I'm glad that it wasn't, but it very much could have been, and it was like. This whole, you finally have the Dark Ranger in there, which a lot of people were looking forward to. You have Billy jumping in, helping. You have Tarek, who is probably the best actor of the season, in my opinion.
He's great, dude.
When he did the monologue, I think it was when he was telling them like what's happening on Earth. I think at the 3rd episode when they first get stranded, I was like, why is this dude not in this season more? Like he's just going off.
Dude, hands down, I really wanted him to morph too.
Yep.
Like even if he didn't use his purple Void Knight suit, there's the brown Void Knight suit and Ryu Soldier that he could have used. Like just give him something, Like
just throw another Cosmic Fury on there. Cosmic Fury purple would have been fine.
That too, literally. No, perfect. They got the fucking Ryu Commander's Award. Like it would have been fine.
Yep. How'd you feel about Heckle?
So also something where I wish he had like a little special or like. A little mini series, because like it was something where like I felt like they just used him because maybe they had the suit. Like I didn't feel like there was a real necessity to that specific character. I feel like it could have been anybody that was like a spy. I made a joke while I was watching. I was like, they probably told Toei they were going to make an evil Blue Ranger, and they were like, "Oh, we have one.
Yeah,
here you go. We have an evil blue dinosaur guy. Here you go."
And they were like. Oh, we want to make our own, kind of, but like we can use this.
We'll still use it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I made that little joke, but I was like, yeah, fucking Heckle. I will say this as a henshin guy, I love that he uses the fucking staff thing and he says, "Unleash the power." Like I thought that was sick.
Yeah.
So
the part to me is like, as a Power Rangers fan, the Morpher we just bought, the episode that it is in very clearly differentiates that that's a different universe. So it's like to use any of those characters in this was super weird.
Yeah. Yes.
But to like a lot of people want to see the Dark Ranger fight, but the fact that you're like, hey, that one that we've already established is a different universe, just throw him in there, make him a spy.
He'll be here somehow.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, or we won't mention it at all.
I get that.
So that part bummed me out. It's fine. He's purely there for fan service, which I will totally give them. That's what the 30th anniversary should be. One of my favorite parts of this episode, which is the Megazords, are purely there for fan service. There's like no substance to them at all, but like, sure, throw them in there. It's the 30th anniversary.
Dude, in the last episode, all the Megazords, oh my god, such a dope scene.
I thought
fan service straight up.
As I was watching it, I was like, all the Megazords are gonna come through. It's gonna be the portal scene from Avengers Endgame, you know, the Star Wars
portal scene.
Yeah, exactly. Like the last movie of Star Wars, when all the fucking ships show up to the planet, like it's gonna be all the Megazords, and I'm gonna be fine with it. But it was 5. And some of them are there for a reason.
Why was Ninja Steel there? That was the only one that I was like, you don't make sense, dude.
Others are there for zero reason.
I gave them Beast Morphers. I was like, Lost Galaxy in space, perfect sense. Beast Morphers, fine.
Beast Morphers, Captain Shaw's there sometimes.
Exactly. But I was like Nick, I guess, was in the show. People will recognize that because... Oh, Nick.
Yep, and it was like fine, but this is also cool. Like the 5 Megazords, the regular one, like Billy was there, but they also had that model left over from Once and Always. So like, I'll give it to them.
They were like, throw it in there. We just made it.
Yeah, I can probably guarantee you that if Hasbro wasn't going on hiatus with Power Rangers, all of those would have been Zap Megazord in the next 2 or 3 years. Like that's what those models are from.
Wow, good point, dude. That's a good point.
So I'm so bummed I will never get to see the reaction of Hasbro being like, the next Zap Megazord is Ninja Steel. And
Steel, Blaze Megazord.
And people were just like, what? What are you talking about? So that's hilarious. But with the Heckle thing, like I'm fine with him. He's there. He's happy fan service. He doesn't really do anything in the episode because like that plan doesn't work. So he's just pointless.
Yeah.
But then at the end of that episode, there's this shot of Tarek, Heckle, and Billy all standing in the screen. Yep. And my mind went, oh, this is the last time we're going to see any of them, which is fine. Yeah. Like, let's get into the endgame plot for the last 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. But then Billy comes back instantly. And I'm like, okay, then what did we have that shot for?
Yeah, they were like, oh, we should have Billy just come back and say bye one last time.
Yeah.
It's David. We'll have Min in the background. For that show.
Do you have any other cons before we go to this last episode?
Big one. Izzy.
Really?
Why the fuck was her whole character, babe, you have to, babe, you can't, babe, don't, what the fuck? Who is that? That's not my Izzy. I loved Izzy in season 1 and season 2. I really, there were some parts where I was like, all right, Izzy, stop saying the one-liners. Like, we get it. She was like Devin and Beast Morphers. Like, enough with the one-liners, kid.
Yep.
Like, we get them. But this season, and I was hoping they would stop. But even when she's a ranger, she's like, and that's what it feels like to save a city. Like, bro, shut up. Let's just fucking be a couple. Like, you don't have to, like, undermine me or, like, make me feel less than because, like, you're a ranger and I'm not, and then now I'm a new ranger. Like, I just hated Izzy's attitude this whole season.
Yeah.
It was such a bitter taste in my mouth every time she said something. Even Sophia, she was like, Izzy kind of sucks this season. And I was like, yeah, she fucking smells, dude.
The first time my chat was like tearing her apart. And the first time I was like, I get being a protective girlfriend. Like they're dealing with a big threat. They have power. Yeah. She doesn't. Fine. And then the second or third time I was like, this seems a little manipulative. Like we're getting to that point of like, calm down.
Yeah, it feels like she's very controlling. And I feel like they really set that in the beginning, the first episode where she's like, you know what, I'm not going to tell her about the whole Lord Zed thing, and I'm just going to make sure she just thinks this way, and not share this info with her. I'm going to control the situation myself. Felt very weird.
The last episode, I talked about it a little before, how it kind of not undoes, but undermines everything I liked about this. I cannot tell you how on board I was when they were like, we're going to do a reverse Z-Wave.
Yes.
I lost my shit. I was like,
Yeah.
that is the coolest thing you could ever do for the final episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
The team talking about sacrificing not only themselves, but the entire morphing grid.
Yes.
100% on board. I was like, that is what my Power Rangers would do. You're right. Like, my Power Rangers would sacrifice all of good so that they could, like, have this little bit of good, save the universe, whatever.
Yes.
And when Zato comes back out of fucking nowhere and just is like, we got to jump in there and we got to, like, talk to Zed, I was like, no, don't do this. They do it. And then they give him room to be redeemed. And I wanted to slit my wrist. I like, the Emperor of Evil has been left alive so that he could be redeemed later and have a second chance. Not to mention, 6 months ago, we just watched his wife, or the lady that was like, presumably he's like serving in this dream, kill a ranger and just be like, that bitch dead. Haha, I killed her. Like, for an entire hour.
Yeah.
And then in this one, we're going to be like, Zed deserves a second chance. I was livid.
And they even set him up. They were like, maybe one day he'll be a source of good for us. And, like, maybe he'll even be a hero. Like, I was like, guys, there's no Rangers. This isn't happening. Like, don't set that up because it's not happening.
Yeah, like, if everything ends here, why are we leaving this open thing? That like doesn't need to be open at all. If you're going to, it's crazy to me that the series finale, quote unquote, right now of all of Power Rangers doesn't end in a gigantic explosion.
Dude, it would have been sick if they just Sopranos it, where like it just Z-Wave happens and cut to black. Directed by Simon Bennett. Like, yo, I would have been like, Simon, you fucking bastard.
That was the ballsiest thing they could ever do, and I'll take it. But, dude, like, I think, and it's funny because the ending of this show entirely, like the concert and everything, is almost a direct ending of, direct comparison or parallel to the ending of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, the 95 version. It's just like, oh, we're all having fun, we're all playing, we all get our little one-liner in, like, there's that shred of hope and everything, but it's like, man, if you were going to talk no jutsu any villain, Zed is not the one to do it at. Especially, like, I loved Zed Morphin Master. Like, his just entire suit is like the most badass thing to come out of the show.
It was very cool. Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, I love Evil Ollie, he's the best suit. And I was like, no, he wasn't. I need Zed Morphin Master Lightning Collection figure right now.
Yes, yeah, definitely better than Evil. I liked Evil Ollie, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Zed was cooler.
I also thought, because I had heard about Evil Ollie having a different suit beforehand, and I just thought that, like, it wouldn't be as Dino Fury as it was. It was like, oh, this is just Dino Fury with, like, armor on it, which, like, we've seen all season, and, like, black colored armor. I just needed the ending to be something different than, hey, let's give the most irredeemable villain of Power Rangers a slightly happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, honestly, I wanted Zed to be bigger than he was. I feel like, whatever her name was, Bajelia or whatever, she was like a little too much, like, throughout the show. Like, I think it was a great example of a really cool U.S. villain suit, and I think it was done well. I liked the daughter suit as well. But story-wise, I feel like it just didn't. I feel like Zed should have been at the forefront. We're bringing him back. He's the main villain. Let's have him be more, like, villainous. Let's see more of him. Let's have him talk more. I feel like he only has, like, a few lines throughout the whole season. So that was something where I was like, like, once we got to the end, I was like, all right, let's see what they do with this. I was more worried about a couple things. One of the things I didn't like that kind of threw me off was the Ollie situation. So, like, I don't know about you, but I thought in the first two like in the second or third episode, when the Rangers do like the like big antidote on him when they're outside before like after all the statues are destroyed and before they escape.
Yeah.
I thought at that point he had turned good. And I was like, my boy's just playing both sides right now. He's gonna play the villain side, he's just gonna keep an eye on Zed. And the whole show I was like, nah, he's playing. Like, he's gonna come back and he's gonna kill this shit. Like, I was so ready. And I was telling Sophia, I was like, yeah, he just told his mom to fuck off because he wants to make sure that she believes that she believes that he's evil.
Yeah.
Because if she knows that he's good, then his plan is fucked. So the whole time I'm like, oh man, he's definitely good, but he's just playing evil. And then at the end, like, he becomes good, and I was like, damn, you really were evil that whole time. you were just evil, and now you're good because they destroyed you're good now because of that.
Your statue.
Like, I was like, come on. Like, I don't know. I thought it would have been way cooler if Ollie had just, he was evil in the beginning, and then we just all accept, oh, he's evil now, but then he had turned good and was just playing the evil side, getting intel so that they could, like, finish off, again, Zed, fuck with Julia or whatever, so that they could finish off Zed and, destroy him. But again, I mean, like, I'm fine with what actually went down to an extent. I just wish that it was done a little better. I think Ollie deserved to have, like, a cooler payoff. I thought the setup was cool, but the payoff for me, I was like, that's kind of lame. They did it right at the end too. So, like, it was like episode, I think it was 9. They were like, episode 9, like, bro's back now, or like 8, and then they were like, oh, fucking, I guess he's good, and he has a new Cosmic Fury suit now, and he's fine. Like,
but we still use the weapon that he got from the bad guys. Super weird to me.
And it works with our weapons.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Two things. One, the Bajilia thing was kind of working for me. I didn't really mind it. It was her turning on Zed that sold me on it.
Yeah, that was way too much.
That's what sold me when I was like, oh, I'm in.
Oh,
like, this chick.
Oh, you did. Oh, no.
I was like, this chick is the bad guy. That's cool. Like, that's fire. I was like, what a good idea. Like, because, like, the way she did it, where she was like, the Power Rangers like caught off guard and she has like the news cameras and everything. By the way, best line of the show is when the Zentrons or whatever they're called, where they're like, it's the media, get them. Yeah, the Sentinels. But when she like pulls up and they're like caught off guard and they're just in the middle and they're like, what the fuck is happening? And she's like, actually, we just got Zed and blah, 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 blah. And that's when she explains the Z-Wave. That's when I was like, I'm all for this. Like, I'm so in. The other thing with the Ollie thing is, like, I was about it at the beginning, and then they drop the ball so hard when Ollie's like, how can my friends ever forgive me? And it's like, you were brainwashed. You were brainwashed last season and they forgave you. What are you talking about? Like,
it was such a whiplash because, like, again, that's why I didn't like it, because, like, he was evil, you know, and, like, the fact that he was evil, now he's good again. It's like, oh, you're back to being a pussy. Like, I don't like Ollie. I'm sorry. I don't really like him. I really wanted him to do something cool this season. So when he did start being, like, super worried about that whole situation, I was like, they don't care. They don't care, dude. Stop worrying. They're glad that you're back. Just wait a couple seconds, dude.
Speaking of cool things to do this season, your friend, specifically, Mr. Campbell Cooley.
Yes.
How'd you like...
Thank you for saying that, my friend.
How'd you like Slither and Mucus this season?
Bro put in work this season, because not only was he Slither, he came back as Scrozzle, and I was like, damn, bro, like, you're getting worked this season. And then he did some stuff on set, on location, too. So I thought that was awesome. No, we loved seeing it, man. It was really cool. I thought that Slither and Mucus were really cool as, like, human characters. I much preferred that, and I wish they had been in the whole show. You know, I wish they were the Bulk and Skull of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really like them.
The one problem I had is, especially because I just watched the episode of Dino Fury that this happens in, about wishing herself to be human.
Oh, yeah.
They made a point that, like, when that monster dies, those are gone. And that monster died in that episode. And then she just has one and makes the wish, and it sticks. And it's like, we talked about this like 3 episodes ago.
You guys just explained that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, this shouldn't be there. But I really like their part. I love I posted on Twitter, but I love the Zato part where he decides to use his magic to turn her back, because at that point we know what Zato using magic means. And he's just like, this is far more important than, like, me. So, like, I think throughout the whole thing, Zato just accepting that it's going to happen is really cool. And him just being like, choosing where to put the magic, and he's like, hey, magic goes here. We didn't even talk about Zato Zordon.
Bro.
What'd you think?
So I had that spoiled for me.
Really?
So I went into the show being like, they really have Russell just becoming Zordon? He's going to be Zordon from now on?
Yeah.
Like, every time he comes, he's just going to be Zordon. I thought they were just making him Zordon. Like, that was the promotion. He's not the Red Rangers anymore, guys. He's just Zordon. I was like, damn, that's a crazy jump. But now seeing the show, I was like, oh, that was fun. That was fun. A little fun thing there.
Yeah. I didn't understand he was Zordon until the end.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, because I knew I went into it, but Sophia hadn't known. So like I felt like, everything that he said up until, like, there's something I used to say in this moment. And they kind of set it up because I think in the episode prior, or maybe not, at some point in the season, Billy was like, my mentor used to say,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. And, so like I feel like they really set it up there. But I did think it was subtle. I liked it. I think it wasn't disrespectful to Zordon. That's so nerdy of me to say. Like, who gives a fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I thought it was very respectful to the character. Like, bringing him back. We haven't had him back.
Yeah, at all.
Since in space. So I thought it was very ballsy to bring him back.
Yeah.
The character of Zordon. So I thought it was kind of done tastefully. I didn't feel anything. Like, it wasn't a weird taste in my mouth. I thought I was weirded out more with that fake Rita at the end than Zordon.
Super weird.
I was like, wait, why are we... because I thought until they were like, yeah, it's a nightmare he's having. I was like, we just killed her.
Yeah,
we just killed a version of her, like literally a couple months ago. So like, until they were like, it's a nightmare. I was like, that's weird. But I thought Zordon was done well.
I will say that Billy scene that you're talking about is my least favorite scene in the entire show. I think it's the dumbest shit for him to be like, hey, if you wait like a couple months, we can all go fight him together. But like right now, all the Power Rangers kind of busy, so we can't. Yeah. We can't go fight them together. I'm like, you're the Power Rangers. What are you talking about? Like, this is insane to me.
Yeah.
The Zordon thing. What do you say?
Well, no. It had nothing to do with that. So please, tell me your Zordon thing.
The Zordon thing was like, one, getting there was the gayest thing I've ever seen in Power Rangers. But
yeah.
But two, I didn't understand it was Zordon until he says the last thing. I thought he was just like, wiped Zato, like this was him becoming a morphing master that he doesn't need, because we've set up like how all the morphing masters besides Green are just kind of these cold, heartless people,
right?
So I thought that was just him getting wiped and becoming a morphin master. I wish he would have been at the start a little more Zordon-y, because like when have you heard Zordon be like, hello friend, good to see you here? Like he only like snaps into character at the very end where he's like, there's something I used to say in this, which makes it feel like it's a remnant of Zordon and it's kind of lost, instead of like what I think they were going for, of like Zordon is this part of the morphin grid and like this keeper of it, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
But I liked it. It popped me. I got up all huge and I was like, let's go. Like, not Zordon's back, but like we got him a little bit and I'll take it for the end of the season.
Yeah, something like for Zordon at this end of this era of Power Rangers. Like, I think that's kind of a nice send off, honestly.
Yeah. Shout out Stickosaurus in the chat, says my two favorite people. What's up, buddy?
Stick. What's up, brother?
Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to go over about the season?
We didn't really talk much about it, and we don't have to, because I think, she's definitely getting her flowers. But Amelia was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I appreciated her every episode. I think I have to fight for Zato because I feel like he was disrespected, but I do appreciate what they did with Amelia, and I did feel Red Ranger in her this season. Like, it wasn't like a suit she wore, it wasn't a color she had. Like, I was like, damn, she really is filling this role. She's filling it. She's filling it well.
Yeah, she was one of the people that I first noticed. I was like, oh, the acting is like upped tenfold here. So shout out Hunter Dino for the performance. I'm gonna say this about being a female Red Ranger being here in the 30th season, the 30th anniversary, and all this stuff is like, part of me, there's been all this talk about a reboot, and if it ever happens, like, great. Part of me knows that's going to have a female Red Ranger or a female leader. Yeah. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
This here very much felt like we got to do it first. Like the right hand not caring about what the left hand's doing and being like, we got to do it first. So I think when it happens again, it will eventually like be lesser. But I like that it happened here and we get to celebrate. And Hunter Dino, like I said, perfect choice for the first female Red Ranger. I'm all great about it. I just think it's a total disservice to the season to not have Zato be that Red Ranger as he is lost. Because I think team being lost without their leader is far more interesting of a story than, well, this person's leader now, so like we're still booming, we're still moving.
Yeah, also we don't have a Yellow Ranger and we don't have a Pink Ranger. Kind of
Yeah.
fucked, guys. What the fuck? That's the last season. Yeah, you gave us orange, but
It's all right, we got green and orange, let's go.
Yeah. And then one of the last things I'll say, I guess, you know, like, one of my favorite parts, and this is just a silly tidbit, but one of my favorite parts in the show is when Billy's, like, saying something, and he's like, you know, like I think somebody says he's one of the OGs, and then Ion's like, guys, like, I'm older.
Hilarious.
I'm the older Ranger. And then he's, like, calling him, like, kid and stuff or whatever. Like, I think that dynamic was the funniest thing they did in this show. So.
Billy also needs to give some oomph when he's saying, like, it's morphin' time. In this one, he was just done with it. I feel like they definitely filmed Once and Always first because he was a little more, like, excited. And in this, he's just like, it's morphin' time. And I'm like, come on, brother.
Super basic. And I'll take it, though.
Yeah, I saw. So officially, Once and Always comes after this.
Nice,
when he says, oh, no, sorry. Once and Always comes before this. And Min is the Yellow Ranger in that looping footage in the background of Billy.
Right.
But, like, if you put Once and Always after this, let me just say it fixes a lot of the problems with Once and Always.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's cool that it comes, like, Once and Always comes first because, like, I think because we saw it first, like, it gets that setup of him looking for Zordon, and then this kind of gives him the confirmation that there is, like, yo, like, I'm going to search harder now.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it in that aspect. But because of what's happening with the brand right now, I don't know if we'll ever see the outcome of that, or if they're going to do, like, hey, we're going to do the reboot thing and, like, refresh this whole shit, but then we're also going to do a Mighty Morphin thing, and, like, Billy's going to have a show with Min. I don't know.
Fingers crossed. The thing, what you said first is, like, my exact problem with it is, like, so Once and Always, I won't beat around the bush here. Billy got Trini killed in that show. Like,
definitely.
So if this is what sets that in motion, then I'm far more forgiving of him getting that confirmation and then being like, well, let's go fucking find Zordon. And that leads to Robo Rita. Then I'm like, all right, this is why it happened. So, like, Billy gets kind of a pass because, like, he was told Zordon's out there. But if for the last 30 years, he's just looking for a way to fix, like, or 25 years, he's just looking for a way to fix Zordon. And then Trini dies, and he's like, damn, that sucks. And then this happens, and he's like, oh shit, I should try again. Then I'm like, no, Billy, please stop.
Bro, yeah, I think I agree with that. At least I think at this time he has confirmation that somebody spoke to Zordon.
Yeah.
Other than that, bro should really give up. He should really stop. Like, because, like, you know, but up until then, he really just has been working on nothing. Yeah. And I guess, like, Rita coming back is faith, but, like, you know.
Someone should also tell him, hey, we also saw Rita again, but, like, nobody's going looking for her. So.
Yeah, so, like, chill, I guess. You're good, man.
Yeah, let's just leave everything how it should be.
Right.